I'd like to welcome Mr. Hardik Thebar, the CFO of Delta Corp, and thank him for giving us this opportunity. I would now hand over the call to Mr. Thebar for opening remarks, and then we'll have follow-up Q&A session. Over to you, Mr. Thebar.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all the people from wherever they have joined in. Thank you very much for coming onto this call. It's heartening to get onto a call at the end of the year. First of all, so early, being able to do a call for the audited results itself is satisfying. Secondly, it has been an eventful year and an eventful quarter as such. Eventful year because we scaled new heights during the previous 3 quarters, and the eventful quarter more so because we have had a couple of transactions that we entered into in this quarter, both of which are of strategic value and strategic importance to us. First one obviously is the investment by a subsidiary of Delta Corp Limited into a Mauritian company called Jalesh Cruises Mauritius Limited, which basically is an owner and operator of the first ever cruise that is going to be operated in India. Obviously, Delta's perspective is predominantly and purely from a gaming perspective, and since like all international cruise liners, this cruise liner also is going to be offering casino gaming. It made strategic sense from a Delta perspective to be having a foot in the door or a dot on the map, as we have always felt it important from our perspective. That's where this investment is very strategically important. Further, another reason to invest into the cruising company itself is because this also gives Delta a right not only to be operating and managing the casino on the first cruise vessel that is getting operational from 17th of April 2019, but also gives the right to operate all further cruise vessels that this company will own and operate in the near future. Thereby, as far as the Jalesh's as far as Jalesh's game plan is concerned, they are looking at adding at least another 3 to 4 vessels in the next 18 to 24 months, which means that Delta will have the right to operate all those casinos over the next 18 to 24 months. And, this basically means that I will have 3 to 4 additional casinos getting operational in the next 18-24 months period, which obviously is of immense strategic value to Delta, and therefore that is the investment. The investment that Delta has committed as of now is a $10 million investment, which was supposed to happen in 2 tranches or more. The first tranche happened before 31st of March, which was of a $5 million value. The second tranche of $3 million has also been invested, which happened in the first week of April. And as and when required, the balance $2 million will happen before 30th of June. Thereby, we will complete our $10 million of investment. As I said, the cruising commences from 17th of April. 8 months of the year, this cruise will operate within the Indian territory. That means it will cruise from ports in India, that is Mumbai to Goa or Mumbai to Chennai, Mumbai to Cochin, Mumbai high seas and back. And for 4 months of the year, which is the monsoon period when sailing is not possible in Indian waters, this cruise will operate out of Abu Dhabi as its hub and will cruise the Gulf countries. So this is as far as Jalesh is concerned as a business. From an opportunity perspective, the casino there in the cruise liner is about a 25-30 table operation to begin with. As far as Delta is concerned, Delta has a fixed cost that it will be paying the owner and the operator of the cruise, which is $5 per person per day, which is the fixed cost, and all the then there are no additional other costs involved. The entire revenue and the profit thereafter belongs to Delta. So this is as far as Jalesh is concerned. The second investment obviously was in the online space. As we all know that we had 3 verticals that we were operating in the online space, which was poker, rummy, and daily fantasy. We were a very minor or small player, fringe player as far as the daily fantasy was concerned, given the fact that the leader is a much larger player called Dream 11, as we all know. And there was a distant second called Halaplay Technologies Private Limited. Halaplay was looking at raising some financial investments into their company. and was offering some equity stake, which gave us an opportunity basically to invest into the number two player, which we thought was a great opportunity because the business model was right. They were doing the right things. It is just that they were looking at funds to raise so that they could, fuel the growth and sustain going forward the competition. So that opportunity we thought was a good opportunity. Hence, we went ahead and made investment commitment of 15.5 crores to invest into Halaplay. Now that we had committed this investment, it also makes logical sense not to have a competing business being funded by you simultaneously competing with the company in which you have invested, and therefore we via a business transfer agreement, sold our daily fantasy sport business to the Halaplay Technologies Private Limited. And in consideration, we received equity shares of Halaplay Technologies Private Limited over and above the 15.5 crore primary investment which Delta did in Halaplay. Therefore, Halaplay hence becomes a 20% kind of investment of Delta into Halaplay. And with the money that has been pumped in, both by us as well as Nazara, because it was a joint investment by Nazara and Delta into Halaplay, the business has started showing signs of growth. Whatever was the business prior to our investment, during the IPL season, the business has already grown at least 3 to 4 times what it was pre-IPL. 2019-20 is a very, very busy cricket calendar, as we all know. Starting, obviously, IPL is already underway. That will be followed by the World Cup. Then you have a couple of good India series. And then leading into January, which is the T20 World Cup. So, that's a very busy season from a daily fantasy perspective. And we believe that this is going to the business is going to grow to the next level, and we are hoping that with our investment, our support, and all the future game plan that we have for the daily fantasy sport, we should be able to cross the 100 crore revenue mark as far as Halaplay is concerned. This basically takes care of the two investments and the two developments that have happened during the quarter. By and large, the quarter has been extremely satisfying. Despite a shorter quarter than normal, we have been able to maintain the same run rate as one would see. We have closed the quarter at 198 crores with about 3 days lesser to operate in the quarter. If one was to extrapolate it for the same number of days as previous quarter, we should have done almost the same number in terms of revenue, and therefore it is very satisfying that once, despite the fact that you are getting into the so-called lean season, we have been able to not only maintain the run rate but also maintain the momentum. Going into, of course, this first quarter is going to be a little bit of a challenge, given that IPL always has thrown a challenge to us to be able to garner the kind of footfalls coming in early into the gaming zones. But this year, the first quarter is coupled with elections, which brings in its own shares of restrictions and issues, whether it is serving of alcohol, timing by till when you can serve alcohol, and the number of dry days and etc. So on and so forth, which obviously for a business which Delta is in is a bit of a hindrance, but we have been resilient in tough times, and I am pretty confident that even these hurdles or challenges we will overcome. One other challenge, obviously, in the first quarter that we are going to face, which is a routine thing as far as we are concerned, but obviously impacts the revenue, is that our vessel Deltin Jack is to go into its regular dry dock, which will be out of operation for 15-20 days in the month of between April and May. But other than that, I think the first quarter also we expect the momentum to continue. Of course, we'll have to adjust the first quarter for these events, but other than that, I think the momentum continues. The business has shown a robust and resilient growth trajectory, and we are hopeful that this continues for the coming year and years to come. With regards to obviously certain data points that normally people want to know, we have grown significantly well when it comes to visitations between March 18 to March 19. Our visitations as of March 18 was for the quarter of March 18 was about 85,000 people. In the same period of March 19, we have 120,000 people, so we've grown about 40% in visitations. on the quarter. On a per day visitation basis also, we have grown from 925 people a day to 1300 people a day, which is another 40% growth on a daily visitation, which is obviously translated into the quarterly growth as well. Obviously, once the visitation grows, your GGR is bound to get reduced because it's a volume game. So our GGR currently for the current period would be about 13,700 as against 15,800 in March. But that has obviously gotten compensated by the huge growth in terms of visitations, and therefore you see we have as a year as a whole and as a quarter between March 18 to March 19 have been able to show sustained growth. It is very also heartening to see the 1,000 crore mark being broken for this financial year by Delta, which we believe is a landmark. It's a journey of 10 years. In the 10th year, we have been able to breach this mark. I think we believe that it's been a great effort by the entire team at Delta, especially the gaming team, the marketing team, who a lot of them at senior levels have been with us from the beginning. That only shows the dedication and the hard work of all the people coming together, and obviously the foresight of our senior management, which led by our chairman, has always believed in this business, and we continue to believe in this business very strongly. With that opening remarks, I would now leave the platform open for questions, which I would be happy to take and answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Chintan Modi from Motilal Oswal Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Sir, first question is on Jalesh. Just to clarify one thing, this $5 per person is the only operational cost that we will have to bear?
Yes.
Okay, so if I were to do the math and considering that at full scale up, we would be doing close to 3 crores per vessel per month, should we be doing something, looking at something like 50% EBITDA margins? Is that the right way to look at it?
EBITDA and profit here is going to be the same thing because there are no other costs involved.
Correct. But then 50% is the right estimate?
Well, you are assuming 3 crores to begin with. I don't think I'm able to give you a number because it's a new line of business. However, we believe in the casino business and we believe that it's going to be a robust business like the one that we have in Goa. But to be able to tell you that whether it will be 3 crores a month, I am not very sure at this point of time. Our internal estimates, we believe to begin with, we should be able to do anywhere between 2 to 2.5 crores a month, and corresponding costs would be anywhere between 16 to 18 crores. So that's the kind of number that we are looking at.
Okay, got it. And Jalesh, first cruise has already begun the operations or it is yet to?
No, it is yet to commence. The vessel is on its way from Singapore after the necessary refurbishments and everything, and it is expected to come to Mumbai on the 17th, which is when the first maiden voyage of the vessel is going to commence from Mumbai. It will go to Goa and come back to Mumbai on the 19th. So the first visit is on 17th of April.
In terms of any kind of bookings that would have, I am sure that would have started, any sense that you can share, like, how has been the initial booking?
We are not into operating that company on the cruising side of it, so it is difficult for me to answer that question.
Okay, sure. Coming to, sir, Delting Jag, which is going for dry docking, approximately how many days it will be there?
I mentioned in my opening remark that it will be out for at least 15 to 20 days.
Okay. And should we consider, historically I've seen like 30 crores per quarter is the run rate for Delting Jag. Correct me if I'm wrong. So accordingly, the match should
Of course, whatever is the pro rata reduction in the revenue, which of course it won't be exactly pro rata because we will obviously try and push as many guests as we can onto Delton Royale and Delton Caravella, trying to salvage that revenue loss on Delton Jack. But yeah, whatever effectively we will have some loss of income on account of the dry docking will have to be accounted for.
Okay, sir. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A reminder to all the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Shaleen Kumar from UBS Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much for the opportunity and congratulations, sir, for a great set of numbers. Sir, your opening remarks have broadly answered most of the questions. I have more of a bookkeeping questions related to the balance sheet. So if you...
Shaleen, you want to do it on the call or you would want to do it separately? If it is because...
Just one question, okay. I just want to understand other current assets, sir. It has gone up from 38 crore to 152 crore. If that you can help me.
Yes, just one second. Pragnesh, are you on the call? Can the manager see my colleague Pragnesh on the call, please?
Or otherwise, if it's not, I'll do offline, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no problem.
Sir, we have Pragnesh Shah who's connected.
Shaleen, just to answer your question in a very, very simple way, 100 crores of that is out on account of the prepaid license fee. That's the basic increase.
It's for FY21.
1920, the financial year 1920, we have to pay the fees in the month of March and we amortize it or write it off over the whole financial year. Since we have paid it prior to 31st of March, it has gone in other current assets and that's why the current assets have gone up by 100 crores.
Okay, so this will be getting amortized over next financial year, FY20.
Yeah, but again, you will have the same amount coming back next year because while this gets amortized, you will have the next year's fee become payable and we would have paid it by then. So this difference kind of remains steady.
But sir, this wasn't. So this was not visible in March number because we paid in later in month of April or something like that. Is it?
That's because last year the increase came in later and we paid it later.
Sure.
Whereas this and because this year it was anyways payable on 31st of March and there was no increase or no change in the fee and it became payable on 31st of March, we had to pay it. So you would not see it last year because we paid it later because the increase got affected later.
Gotcha. Yeah, but that's answers. And sir, on Jalesh thing, 5 million we have paid and 80 million we have paid, and also this Halapay we have paid 15 crores, right?
Halaplay we only paid about 7.75 crores.
Okay.
And Jalesh we have paid $8 million.
Right, and Halapay is in last financial year or this year we have paid.
Halaplay part went in last year, part went in this year. So about 1 crore 75 lakhs was paid in the current year or the first quarter of this financial year, and earlier the balance was paid earlier. 6 crores was paid earlier.
Okay, cool, sir. Thank you so much. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
So just on follow-up on that previous question of prepaid license, so the 38 crore that we see in the balance sheet last year, that would refer then to the prepaid license fee on a lower number last year? That's how it would be?
Yes.
Okay. My second question is how much capital expenditure we would have done this year, and which heads or where would have spent the capital expenditure?
There is not significant capital expenditure except some amount that we have spent in Nepal, which is about 12 or 15 crores for our casino, which is commencing operations in the next 60 days, hopefully, given that the license for the 5-star hotel is awaited, which obviously the Marriott and the local guys there are working on. But I believe that in 60 days' time, the license the 5-star should be accredited and we should be able to operate the casino. But I think the bulk of the capital expenditure that has happened in Nepal, which is about 12 to 15 crores in the current year, and I don't think anything else substantial or worth mention is carried out under any head.
So the arithmetic says about 35-40. So 15-20 is growth capex and balance should be considered as maintenance capex that you would have spent?
Say that again, please.
I said the arithmetics works out to about 35 to 40 crore of capex that would have spent looking at the balance sheet. You called out 15 crores in your Sikkim, so that's your growth capex. Balance is it?
No, Nepal I said.
Sorry, Nepal. So balance is it maintenance capex then?
I don't know exactly where you are getting that number from, but there would be obviously an ongoing maintenance expense at all the hotels and the casinos that would be continuously happening, which are not capital in nature but are maintainable or normal capex as we call it. But I will have to look at the exact number. I don't know whether it is 40 crores that we have spent in the year. But if there is anything else which is there, then obviously it is maintenance capex.
And lastly, on the growth part, on the gaming business, any comments there on the incremental growth that you want to call out for?
I have already said what I believed about the way the growth is and where we believe that it's going to continue in my opening remarks. And I'm again reiterating that we are still not 100% on our capacity. As I said, the numbers were 1,300 people a day, whereas my capacity is 2,200 a day. So, one, we have organic capabilities of growth, and we have always maintained that we also have the option of, changing one of our smaller vessels to a larger vessels, thereby increasing our capacity till the time the transition to land happens.
Is 2,200 per day is your weekend capacity?
It's my capacity at all points of time.
Okay, all points.
I have 2,200 people who can gamble at any point of time, of which my average is currently at 1,300 people. That means I have technically 900 more seats to go, which means I have enough space to grow in my existing vessels itself.
But how much capacity on a weekend available?
See, it all fluctuates. On certain weekends you are 100% occupied, on certain weekends you are 80% occupied. So in a 365-day calendar year, you will have 100 days or 120 days where you will be 100% occupied.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akshat Chandak from SMC Global. Please go ahead.
Sir, so basically I have two questions. The first one is on the EBITDA guidance and the licensing cost guidance for FY20. And the second question is regarding the Daman Hotel. So as I can see from your hospitality division numbers this quarter, I think we've kind of break even at the Daman Hotel, or is it still not break even at an operating?
It has always been breaking even. This year we have been positive EBITDA.
Okay.
So it was not losing money in any case. It was only at the post depreciation that it lost money.
Okay, right. And the EBITDA guidance for the FY20?
We normally don't give guidances as a practice, but one thing we have said that we'll continue our growth trajectory and we'll continue to maintain the 20-25% growth on the top line, which obviously will translate into whatever number in terms of bottom line and the EBITDA margins. We have been in the 38-40% and we believe that it can only be better from here and it won't go down.
Okay, right. So one more question. When are we starting off with the operations in Nepal?
I just said in the previous question that we are ready as a casino portion is concerned. We are waiting for the hotel to get its 5-star license and commence its operations because hotel is not in my control. But we believe from the activity that has been taking place there, that another 60 days or so we should be able to commence operations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nishit Shah from Ambit FinCap. Please go ahead.
Hi, Hardik, a few questions. On Daman, you have filed a case. Now, what is the status?
The case, there have been two hearings that took place. One got cancelled because the judge was not available and he was unwell. In the last two hearings, the government has been seeking time. I am told that the next date is on 16th of April. I'm not very sure whether the government would be ready and would file its response on then, but we believe that if they take one more, extension of a date, the judges these days, especially in cases of writ petition, have taken very strong stands. So while they may get away with one extension, but this would be the final extension if at all they get. Otherwise, we believe that if the government does file a reply, then the case will start getting argued.
And on the Goa land policy, what is the current status?
So as we all know, the new chief minister is in place now. Obviously, till the 23rd of May, nothing's going to happen. We are using the time to obviously take him through and explain to him what the policy is all about and what was the benefits and stuff like that. And we believe that once the election, the code of conduct and the results and everything is out of the way, we should have some action happening. So I believe that the earliest one can look at some movement or some traction happening there is June. So we'll have to wait. But there is no change in stance of the government as far as the policy or the basic decision on the policy is concerned.
That's useful. And what is the growth in the online business? If you can give some color on your online.
So between from March 18 to March 19, we've grown at 30%. If you look at the numbers in the balance sheet, you will see an 86 crore number. But obviously, last year we had only 9 months of operations of online business. So if you extrapolate the 9 months to 12 months, we should have done last year something like 116, 117 crores as against 148, 49 crores this year, which is a 30% jump. And we are expecting a 30 to 40% jump happening this year again.
Your capital employed in casino business has gone up from 586 crore to 747 crore. So it's a huge jump. Where is that money gone?
586 crores.
Quarter on quarter growth.
Just 1 second. I have some data which I'll just pull out. Give me a second, please. So this is why 100 crores obviously, as I explained, is on account of the prepaid license fee. That's where the cap employed is gone up. And secondly is obviously our investment in Jalesh Cruises, because that is classified by us as investment in casino space itself.
And finally on Sikkim, what is the status?
So Sikkim, the airport and everything is functional, and unfortunately, when the airport started, it started in winter, so you had a lot of flight cancellations and airport closures and runway closures. We believe that this is the right time. We'll have to see how the traction picks up during the summer, because that's the peak season as far as Sikkim and Gangtok and those places are concerned. So I think we should start seeing some traction, and with the regularity of flights and everything coming back to normal, we will have some impact.
Okay, thanks a lot. Once again, congrats on a very good set of numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishant.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amar Kalkundrikar from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. So you shared the visitation numbers for quarter 4. Could you share them for the year and the growth therein?
Sorry, Amar, your voice was not very clear. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, sure. So you shared visitation number for quarter 4. Could you please share the number for the full year and the growth in that?
I don't have the full year numbers readily available. In the sense, they are there for all the quarters, but I'll give it to you in some time, if possible during the call, or maybe separately, Amar.
Sure. And secondly, on online business, you mentioned that for the next year also 30 to 40% growth should continue.
Right.
In the current year, I think our margins are somewhere around 18-20%.
That's right.
Similar level to continue?
I think so. We will be at similar margins, because to be able to achieve a growth rate that we are estimating, we will have to continue to maintain the spends at least, if not increase, and therefore I don't see improvements in margins happening beyond the 18-20% mark.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anubhav Gupta from Emkay Global Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Hi, Artik. We have some questions from our FI clients who couldn't join because of different time zone. Shall I ask you a few questions from them?
Anubhav, what I suggest is if you can be last on the queue, then we can finish the call with that. If there is anyone else other than you, we'll take that question and then take your questions. For sure.
Sure. Moderator, can you check? Can you take questions in the queue, please?
Sure, sir. The next question, just a moment here. So the next question is from the line of Shaleen Kumar from UBS Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so just one bit on online gaming. This quarter has been softer. Is it because base was high? Something we are missing over here in the base?
Why do you say it was softer? It was identical to last quarter.
No, year-on-year growth in terms of that. So So, like the kind of growth we have been seeing, 11% growth in that, because obviously base quarter is high. So I was just understanding, you say there's something in the base quarter, because there's a big jump in the base quarter.
I don't think there is nothing out of the ordinary or nothing different that has happened, and it's just that when you transition from a level to another level, then obviously to go to the next step up, it takes a little while.
No, yeah, I got you. So, fine. Okay, one bit, sir. The poker tournament that we organize, that doesn't fall under online gaming, right? That's form part of our gaming operation.
The poker tournament is more of a marketing activity. It is honestly not a money-making proposition, honestly, from the tournament per se. Because whatever tournament participations we get, we are, more or less paying that out as winnings. Yeah. So that's more a promotional activity. And there is ancillary benefit because you get so many people coming in on those days. And those guys who are getting knocked out of the tournaments continue to be on the floor of the casino, and they indulge into any other live gaming, which is where the revenue comes from.
Okay, but whatever the poker tournament revenue we capture, it forms.
No, that obviously is not an online piece. Okay. So that is obviously a part of my. If Amar is still on the call, Amar's question about the visitations for 17-18 stood at 317,000 people, and visitations for 18-19 stand at 431,000 people.
So can you repeat for FY19 again?
431,000 visitations as against 317,000 previous year, which is a 35% annual growth in visitations.
Thank you, sir. That's it from my side as well.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anuj Momaya from Value Quest Research. Please go ahead.
So we have seen an improvement in the number of hospitalities. Any particular reason you're seeing this loss reducing, or this is?
So it's just the business matures. People become more aware. People recognize you as a destination, as a place to visit, and therefore, obviously, especially Daman has done better in the last 2 quarters. And this quarter again, we are expecting the similar traction, given that we are mostly occupied for the entire April and May because of a tie-up that we have with a client. So, once you start getting recognition, you start becoming known, this is bound to happen in this business. And we believe and we hope that this continues.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anubhav Gupta from MK Global Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Hardik, these are last set of questions from us.
Sure.
So the first question, the Q3 online segment EBIT was 7 crores, which you reported in the December quarter. And in March quarter, you reinstated it to 8.5 crores.
Sorry, you said that the EBIT in the segment reporting for online was 7 in December.
In December, and in March quarter,
in March it is 8.5.
8.5. Yes.
So what is the question?
So what has changed? Why the reinstatement?
The only reinstatement is because the loss on the continuing, we have loss on account of the discontinued operations of the Daily Fantasy Sport. So basically, because we sold the Daily Fantasy business in the month of March, we have to restate the income as if that business did not exist in the previous quarters as well, and therefore we had to restate it. And that's why if you see even December 18 numbers on a standalone as well as consolidated basis would have changed. And that's where in the balance in the P&L you see a 4 crore 27 lakh loss on account of discontinued operations and 4 crore 40 odd lakhs on gain on the capital gains on account of sale of that business. Both the items are appearing, one as exception item and one as loss on discontinued business on the face of the P&L.
Correct. Now, second question is on the nature of arrangement with Jalesh. So, as per the arrangement, do you get 25% share in all revenue streams of the company, or it is?
Of course, as a shareholder in Jalesh, whatever revenue I am entitled to, I will obviously get. But the casino revenue is not a part of that, and casino revenue will entirely come to the operator of the casino, except the $5 revenue which will go to Jalesh, and 25% of that $5 also will come to me.
Right. Sure. And the third question is what is the gross debt on the books as at March 2019. And
we are a debt-free company. There is no debt.
okay, so all the OCPs have been
Everything is got converted. Yeah, of course. Everything is gotten converted.
correct. And both
That is why my other current liability, if you see, last year was some 180 odd crores, has gone down to a smaller number this year because 94 crores of conversion has happened and 82 crores of cash has been paid out.
right. The fourth question is the tax rate in Q4 19, which was 39% versus 29% in Q4 of FY18. So why this increase in the tax rate?
Tax rate has increased from 29 to 39%.
Yes,
It's only on account of deferred tax, which we obviously make provisions towards the end of the year. And
understood. And the last question is, so license fees for FY20 should remain same as 97 crores.
we've already paid for 1920.
So there is no increase as per the.
Anubhav, we have already paid.
Sure. Yes, so that's all from our side. And yeah, we can end the call. Your closing remarks, please.
Like I said in my opening remarks, we continue to believe very, very strongly in this business. We continue to believe that we still have huge potential to go from here. We are working towards making sure that the growth trajectory that we have been achieving in the last few years, we continue to maintain for the foreseeable near future. And there are a lot of positives and a lot of upsides that we see for ourselves as a company and as a business. The transition to land is obviously a trigger. The Daman matter which is going on, hopefully the courts rule in our favor. That's another trigger. And addition of Jalesh with one vessel going on to 2, 3, 4 vessels. That means 4 more casinos and the Nepal operations. All these are very, very good and positive events that we believe that will unfold in the near future, and that will help us not only maintain but surpass our growth expectations. Thank you very much for all the help and support that all my investor friends and my analyst friends have been lending to us as a company and covering us from time to time. Thank you very much for all the support.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Emkay Global Financial Services, that concludes this conference.